Hey there, my name is Alex, I am the Silver Mont, and this is a spoiler-free impressions of Dragon's Dogma 2 so far. Not a full review, that'll take a bit longer, as this game is pretty big. Anyway, disclaimer time. I received a copy of Dragon's Dogma 2 from Capcom EU. And in case you're unfamiliar with me and my, history with Dragon's Dogma, I like it a lot. I've put hundreds of hours into it across the 360 and PC versions. And in fact, the very first videos on my channel, long since gone sadly, back in the day were Dragon's Dogma. Anyway, I'm going to break this video into two main parts and keep it brief, and as spoiler-free as possible. Brief because A, I want to go back to playing it, and B, I've had the hiccups for like 12 hours straight, which sucks. First part, never played Dragon's Dogma? You have no idea what it is? Well, it's a semi-open world action RPG, which combines a fantasy RPG with stylish, satisfying combat. There isn't really anything quite like it. No, it's not Dark Souls, it's not Skyrim, it is what it is. There's nothing directly comparable with Dragon's Dogma. You control your hero, the Arisen, and you are accompanied by up to 3 AI-controlled companions, one made by yourself, the other summoned from other players. They can learn and develop as you, the player, do. You have a handful of vocations or classes to choose from: the sword and shield fighter, the two-handed warrior, the mage, the sorcerer, the archer, the thief, you get the idea. You can swap between these classes so you aren't locked into one. Story-wise, your character has been chosen by a dragon. Your quest is to defeat said dragon and reclaim your heart, which the dragon has confiscated. But what if you're a Dragon's Dogma 1 fan and you're wondering, how is 2? Well, it's still Dragon's Dogma. It has that same feel, the style of the world. Open world, but as I mentioned, yes, semi-open world. Not giant empty fields. It's a little more linear or corridor-based. Less aimless wandering, more directed adventure, like a gamer master, guiding you toward hidden caves, ruins and the like. The shape of the surroundings, mountains, hills and the like, all drawing your eye to locations to explore. The world is quite a lot bigger than the first game. Combat feels similar but not identical. Some combat skills have been turned into core skills. So in a sense you have less skills that you can equip, but that's because some of them will be included in your base kit and always available to you. The vocations have also been reworked to have a larger sense of identity. Every vocation now has unique weapons. Whereas in the first game you have Strider, Assassin, Ranger, and Magic Archer, I think, who all use daggers. This time only the Thief uses daggers. Mystic Knight appears to have been retired and is rolled into other classes. Fighters, for example, get an elemental counter ability very reminiscent of the Mystic Knight. Pawns are streamlined and have more realistic conversations, including with each other quite frequently. One will say something and the other will respond to it. Their personality and inclinations are now kind of rolled into one, too. I've yet to really understand how inclinations work exactly in the sequel, as that's going to take a lot more testing from the community as a whole. Leveling up no longer adjusts your stats permanently. Instead, your stats are tied to your vocation. For example, let's say you have 100 strength on your fighter, then you swap to a mage. Now you'll have 100 magic instead. It's not exactly like that, but you get the idea. In other words, there's nothing stopping you from freely experimenting and trying new vocations without worrying about useless stats. Overall, I'm loving it so far. But that's not to say there aren't issues and weaknesses. In terms of the former, the performance is really in a bad state at the moment. No matter your hardware, as in PS5, Xbox, or the most expensive GPU and CPU available in a PC, you're gonna get weird performance hikes no matter the settings. It has an uncapped frame rate option, so you can, in theory, go as high as you want, but I locked the frame rate to 60 and I'm able to keep it there most of the time. But going into towns, cities, camps, anywhere where there's a lot of NPCs, absolutely tanks performance and the game starts to chug down to the 30s. I suspect all this has to do with the CPU side of things rather than the GPU. It doesn't matter if you have DLSS on, off, settings maxed, settings minimum, but Capcom have acknowledged it and they say they're working on it. I can only hope by the time the game is officially out in a few hours from this video, or at worst in the next few days or weeks, they'll optimize it, because right now it's really rough performance. Loading times are fine, and there's no like weird glitches or bugs that I've really encountered. It's just the frame rate. Any area with lots of NPCs will just tank it. The game also has some form of DRM like de novo or something, which isn't necessary, and I'd rather that were removed, because I find DRM very anti-consumer. Beyond that, yeah, there's a few less than stellar aspects, like the NPC interactions are definitely dated in a 2024 title. Kind of just awkward conversations that are almost identical to the first games, which were already pretty lackluster in 2012. It just kind of zooms in slightly on an NPC who stands there rigidly and their mouth moves like a puppet. Does that bother me? Not really, but it's worth pointing out. Comically, it's a lot like the first game, which ran horribly at launch. At least this one isn't letterboxed, and the performance isn't as bad. I'm still finding it hard to stop playing. Dragon's Dogma is a very special game, and it's very near and dear to my heart. So far the sequel is shaping up just great. I'll have a full review out later on, but for now, it's good. Just fix the performance, please, Capcom. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and catch you soon.
That was incredible. Never have I encountered such strength.
Well, well. Follow me a second.
What is the meaning of this, Arisen?